NEWS.MC on Monaco Info is brought to you by Monaco Legend Properties. Bringing you news on Monaco's economy, culture, sports and more. Welcome to NEWS.MC, your English rendezvous on Monaco Info. Coming up on NEWS.MC, discover past week's top stories and meet the people who make Monaco.
My name is Umberto Riva. I'm the owner and CEO of Riva Sports Management, and you are watching NEWS.MC on Monaco Info.
What's been making headline in the past week? The Literary Council of the Prince Pierre Foundation, chaired by Her Royal Highness the Princess of Hanover, met on May 14th at the Ritz in Paris to announce the finalists for the 2025 Prince Pierre Literary Prize and Discovery Grant. 4 acclaimed French-speaking authors, Natacha Apana, Louis-Philippe d'Alembert, Marie-Hélène Lafont and Marie Nimier, were shortlisted for the Literary Prize, which honours an author's entire body of work. 6 debut writers, including Ruben Baruch and Adele Yon, were selected for the Discovery Grant, which recognises originality and literary promise. Jury members, including Amin Maalouf, welcomed the strong female presence on this year's lists. Winners will be revealed on October 14th, 2025 at the Opéra Garnier de Monaco in the presence of His Serene Highness Prince Albert II. His Serene Highness Prince Albert II continued his tour of ancestral Grimaldi territories with an official visit to southern Italy following recent travels in the French Ardennes. On May 14th, the Sovereign Prince visited the historic town of Irsina in Basilicata, where he unveiled a commemorative plaque in Piazza San Francesco and delivered a speech marking the town's recent inclusion in the Association of Historic Grimaldi Sites of Italy. Formerly known as Monte Peloso, Irsina was a Grimaldi seigneury in the 16th and 17th centuries. The visit highlighted these dynastic links, including the recent restoration of a Grimaldi funerary monument bearing the family's coat of arms. On May 15th, the Prince toured the UNESCO-listed archaeological site of Pompeii, one of the world's most significant remnants of Roman civilization. He later visited the Sanctuary of the Blessed Virgin of the Rosary, a place especially meaningful due to Princess Grace's deep devotion to the Rosary. Monaco's ambassador to Italy, Anne Eastwood, noted the visit's broader diplomatic significance as it follows the recent revival of the Italian-Monegasque Bilateral Commission after a decade. The Princess Charlene Foundation has launched an innovative mobile aquatic centre unveiled in the village of Alos in the Alpes de Haute-Provence on May the 15th. Created in collaboration with Aqua Itineris, the 8-metre travelling pool is housed in a truck and aims to teach children aged 3 to 12 how to swim, particularly in rural areas lacking infrastructure. Designed by humanitarian Jean-François Buisson, the project addresses high child drowning rates, with over 300,000 deaths reported globally each year. The initiative allows more than 1,000 children annually to learn life-saving skills close to home, supporting the Foundation's core mission of drowning prevention through education and sport. His Serene Highness Prince Albert II took part in the 6th Summit of the European Political Community, held on May 16th in Tirana, Albania. The high-level gathering brought together around 60 heads of state and government, including French President Emmanuel Macron and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, to discuss shared European priorities in a turbulent geopolitical climate. His Serene Highness Prince Albert II attended the plenary session and participated in a roundtable on energy, competitiveness and connectivity, underlining Monaco's active engagement on regional and sustainability issues. The summit, launched in 2022, promotes dialogue between EU and non-EU members. Albania's hosting of the event marked a significant moment in its European integration journey, while Monaco's presence reaffirmed its commitment to a stable, cooperative and forward-looking Europe. Their Serene Highnesses Prince Albert II and Princess Charlene were in Rome to attend the inaugural Mass of Pope Leo XIV, held in St. Peter's Square on May the 18th, 10 days after his election. The ceremony marked the official start of the new pontificate and drew thousands of faithful, along with numerous world leaders and royal dignitaries. Following the homily, the princely couple had the opportunity to greet the Holy Father personally. Earlier, Pope Leo XIV delighted crowds with his first public walk through the square, echoing the popular tradition of his predecessor, Pope Francis. For only the third time in its history, Monaco's fire brigade has introduced a new badge presented during a ceremony at the Condamine Relief Centre on May the 19th. Validated by His Serene Highness Prince Albert II, the design reflects Monaco's identity and the fire brigade's proud heritage. Red and white, the national colours, feature prominently alongside axes, flames, and the motto Courage, Dedication, Sacrifice. The princely crown and the monogram of Prince Albert I, who founded the Corps in 1909, also appear. The badge symbolises unity, pride, and the brigade's deep connection to Monaco's history. Monaco announced the launch of its first ever cycling academy on May the 21st, further reinforcing the Principality's growing commitment to the sport. Unveiled at the Yacht Club de Monaco in the presence of His Serene Highness Prince Albert II, the academy will be named after Prince Albert I and aims to nurture young cycling talent, male and female, while promoting clean sport and sustainability. The announcement coincides with Monaco's preparation to host the Grand Départ of the Vuelta a España in 2026, following previous collaborations with the Tour de France. With world-class infrastructure and an elite environment, the Academy hopes to become a global benchmark for youth development in the sport. Monaco's commitment to cycling now rides confidently toward a new chapter. The annual Prix-Grand Prix charity football match returned to Stade Louis II on the 21st of May under a new name, the Racing Stars Football Cup. This year's match saw Formula One drivers face off against the celebrity-studded Barbagians of Monaco, raising funds for the Jules Bianchi and Bissafe associations. His Serene Highness Prince Albert II and Her Serene Highness Princess Stephanie attended the event, joining Charles Leclerc and Mika Häkkinen to take part in the ceremonial kickoff. Players included legends like Bonucci, Sébastien Frey, and Ludovic Julie, with MMA fighters bolstering the defense. The atmosphere was light-hearted but meaningful, reinforcing Monaco's sporting and charitable spirit. Ultimately, the Barbagians claimed victory, beating their opponents 6-4. The event, set in the picturesque Principality, continues to blend elite sport, entertainment and philanthropy, offering unforgettable moments for participants and fans alike. Next up, our exclusive interview with the personalities making the Principality.
My name is Umberto Riva. I'm the owner and CEO of Riva Sports Management. I grew up in Italy, in the countryside next to Turin. I left Italy at 20. I lived then 5 years in Los Angeles. I then lived in London. Now it's been 5 years that I'm very happily a Monaco resident. When I came back to Europe after the experience in Los Angeles, I decided that it was the time and I wanted to start this profession. So what you have to do is to get a license, what is commonly called the FIFA license. Once I had the license, it was time for me to start. That comes the interesting part in the sense that most of the people, when they hear what I do, they almost always ask, how did you start? I remember actually when I took the license and I told my family that this is what I wanted to do, that I really wanted to focus on this job. I remember that they told me, my father told me at the time, I know a lot of people, but you chose one profession where I cannot introduce you to anyone. Basically, the first transaction that I did in football, it was to participate in the sale of a football club, of a whole football club in England, a very historic and famous one. From there, obviously, it was an important start, let's say. But by doing these deals, I then saw that what I really liked was to work with the players, negotiate and organize the transfers and the movements from one club to another, and to assist them in the negotiation of the contract. To know that you're part of realizing their dreams and getting to reach their goals, both sport goals and financial goals. So that's a very important part. That is one of the most difficult things of the job, is to really get the trust and the entry, let's say, in the clubs. Afterwards, once you're inside, if you have very good work ethics, if you have very good contacts, obviously if you work well with your clients, it's easier to remain, let's say, in the business. But breaking in is the difficult part. I've worked in the past with AS Monaco, so my job is very cyclic sometimes. So sometimes I have 2 or 3 players in one specific teams, and then maybe for a couple of years and I don't work with that team again. I've worked obviously in the past with Monaco, which is a club, as I said, that I always look with a special regard. I have clients based everywhere. The league where I work the most, Italy, France, England and Portugal, but my clients are based a bit everywhere, and club-wise, obviously I have contacts with all the clubs in Europe. So when working with young players, obviously I have my scouts that do this job, because it's a completely different job. I perform better when I deal with already, let's say, established professional first team players. So my focus is there. Then it can happen that all the connection that now I have, there are some exceptions, but there are really a few gems, let's say, that I can focus. Otherwise, I leave the work with the young players to the agents that focus on that. My core business is really to work on the transfers and on the negotiation of the contracts. But it's true that what I try to do is to offer a really comprehensive service, let's say, for the players. We're talking about a career that will have them earn a lot of money, so a very important amount of money for 10, 15 years. And then this influx of money will abruptly stop one day, from one day to another. Then, as I said, there are players that prefer to deal with some things on their own, or they have already their professionals. But for a lot, and it's growing the number of players, that they ask us to really take care of everything for them. So the football industry, since I got involved, since I started working in it, has seen an incredible growth, because it's been year after year. The clubs had bigger budget, the TV rights, apart from a couple of specific cases, but they always grew. There's more and more games being played as well. Obviously, all the leagues and the FIFA, they're trying to maximize the input of the TV rights. So almost every year, new competitions and a lot of games played. It's causing a bit of a strain on the players. This is another aspect that will need to be regulated. But for the moment, football keeps seeing an increase in the product, which seems to go higher every year. I had the pleasure to come to Monaco a lot since I was a kid, because my parents had an apartment here. We used to come a lot in the spring and in the summer for weekends. So I've always loved Monaco. I always loved the feeling here. I remember coming since I was a kid, always feeling great here. So I always had a connection with Monaco, and I always had in mind that once the time was ready, that I wanted to come back and live here. So my company started having a good structure. I was doing important deals, started to do important deals every year. So I decided that it was the moment to come live in Monaco, which is a place, again, that I always loved, and I love more every year because it's growing, it's changing, I believe, in a great direction every year. So it's improving every year. Honestly, it's always been very focused on sport and on the business behind sport. So it's a place where you can meet a lot of interesting people all the time. I really love the vibe and the feeling here. A resident here for 5 years now. My company as well has been based here, and I plan on staying here because I think it's an amazing place to really mix your personal life and your professional life. So to have a fantastic personal life and enjoy all Monaco has to offer, and also take advantage of all the economic and professional connections that you can do.
That's all for today. Thank you for watching NEWS.MC, your English rendezvous on Monaco Info. Discover the full interview and more stories on our websites, NEWS.MC and MonacoInfo.com. Next week, we will receive Enrique Sugon, President of La Clinique de Monte Carlo. This show is intended to provide a summary of the past week's top stories for the English-speaking audience. For daily and real-time news updates in English, please visit news.mc and subscribe to our free daily newsletter. For French news, visit monacoinfo.com. This show was brought to you by Monaco Legend Properties.